Get a case. Get a case. Use that feather touch.
I'll tell you what.
Hit it again. Try it again.
Just like most of the KYOS radio equipment we have. Are we on the air?
We're on. We're rolling.
I know folks can sometimes hear our show at 6 p.m. on Saturday evening. Sometimes it's right at 6 p.m., maybe a minute or two before.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had some issues. Folks, this is Citizen Watch. I guess we're on the air. We're kind of goofing around here, getting started this morning. It's May 20th. Beautiful Tuesday evening, a cool Tuesday evening in Merced. Unseasonably cool weather. Low pressure front blew in. I don't know. Maybe it hit the transmitter, Steve. What do you think?
Was there a storm here Saturday I didn't see?
I don't know.
We apologize for that, folks. We were off the air for an extensive period of time on the weekend, and again, we apologize for that. I don't know what else to say, Case.
Hey, no, let's not beat a dead hamster. Hopefully, we got a new one here in the board. We have Steve Colvard running the controls, changing the vacuum tubes. As we need. And then, of course, we have Robert, the Velvet Sledgehammer Tomasetti, in studio over here on the microphone. And I don't know what you gave Robert as far as documents this morning, but he is just knee-deep into those things right now, making notes.
You brought up a situation to me.
Robert, we're going to talk about some things.
We don't have
I can't wait to hear this, because
we have no guests in studio today, folks. It's been been the election season, and we've had guests every week for the last few weeks. And anyway, Robert's here in studio, and I'm Casey Steed, and I'm here on this side of the microphone. And I gave Robert some information about the supervisors requesting some information from the sheriff about some individuals that stand up and speak in front of the Board of Supervisors doing the 3-minute open meeting, and it was just interesting. So Robert's
No.
Robert's intently involved looking at it. But no, what we're going to talk about at the start of the show, we kind of joke around a little bit, but I think Robert had his contest a few weeks ago.
Little fun.
Gave out.
How much does Casey win?
My turn.
I think we should have another contest. I wasn't here Thursday, but I heard about the show. Hopefully I'll be able to listen to it.
Sam Rangel talked about gangs and stuff like that, and he came up with a new nickname for Robert.
Yeah.
And it was Money, as Steve says. And so we're going to have a contest between the listeners.
Who is it?
Which would they rather I call Robert when I introduce him? Robert, the Velvet Sledgehammer Tomasetti, or Machete Tomasetti?
I wouldn't have a problem with Machete Tomasetti, except I am not Mexican, and my last name doesn't end in A.
How about Tomasetti the Machete? How about Tomasetti the Machete?
No.
So anyway, folks, if you have any opinion, you can call our tip line, which is, of course, 209-406-8728. We put that out every time. If you go on YouTube, want to watch any of our old shows, you just put
any of our old shows. There he goes again.
I screwed up again. Listen to any of our old shows. You'll be able to go in the search bar and just put in KYOS space 1480 AM, again since 1936, bringing you the voices of the Valley, the power of local radio, issues that really matter to you. You know, I again just wanted a couple of things. We have great programming here on KYOS. Unfortunately, the technical problems kind of affected the Tea Party show on Saturday, and it did replay last night in its entirety, and it was a good show. And I was listening to you guys talk about the train, Steve, and the subsidized railroad system. And it's interesting how we've had that, and it was supposed to go from a predetermined route, not a lot of different routes, and supposed to be the private investment and things like that. You remember talking about that?
Absolutely, I do.
But you're probably thinking I'm talking about high-speed rail.
Yes.
I'm not. I'm talking about Amtrak. And some of the things that Jim Price talked about with Amtrak, I just want to, he was real close. Amtrak actually started in 1971. Okay, the Pullman company that used to make all those nice railroad cars.
From where?
And the Pullman company?
Chicago,
Illinois. Went bankrupt in 1969. Nobody was like buggy whips. Nobody was buying cars, And then the rail service, or the mail service rather, quit using the rail service to get the mail around the country. Lost a big government contract. And passengers, with cars after World War II, blah, blah, blah. So there was kind of a nostalgia there with rail. And with people in their mind. It's like, remember the good old days kind of thing. And so Congress stepped in and appropriated some funding. They called it rail packs at first before it became Amtrak. And the idea was they were going to subsidize the few lines that were left take over basically the pensions from the railroad workers, because there was a lot of workers.
Was that the beginning? Did they call it Conrail at the moment?
No, Conrail was a different thing. This was called Rail Pax.
Is this when they merged them together?
Conrail was part of the group, but anyway, they got together and got some government money, and the idea was private investors were going to step in.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
They were going to pare down all these routes. They had thousands of routes over the United States, so they were going to pare them down into the most profitable corridors. Where have we heard that?
We hear it quite frequently. The Northeast and here in California.
The Acela corridor.
Right.
These are popular corridors. Now, what we're talking about is, hey, let's build this $100 billion popular corridor down the center of the valley, and it's going to pay, but it's not. So, again, I want to talk about Amtrak just for a minute. So, 1971, it was started, kept going, funding. This year, the funding for Amtrak, $2.2 billion is what they want. They want to put a lot of money up into the Acela, the Northeast Corridor with their Acela Express, which is their version of high-speed rail. We would call it very fast rail. It's about 150 miles an hour. It's not the 220 that we're purporting here through the valley.
Is it electrified?
Yeah, it is electrified, which this won't be electrified for 20 years.
Why are we talking about this?
The reason I'm talking about it is Jim brought it up on the other show.
So why are we talking about it?
Well, I think that we have always talked about high-speed rail. We know
you love trains. I think your middle name is actually
Casey was
Lionel.
way ahead of the curve as far as pronouncing
agree.
this DOA, months ago.
No, I understand that, but I mean...
But I just think it's funny to share with people
the ideology.
That we have a subsidized rail system that we're spending billions of dollars on since 1971 that doesn't produce money for itself. What evidence do you need to realize that this project that we voted on, high-speed rail in California, is a boondoggle, is something that needs to be killed? It needs to be killed quickly. It's like The Walking Dead. You can shoot it everywhere. It needs a headshot. It needs to be put out of its misery. The voters need other money in other places, which we're going to talk about. Water and water mining and some of the things that are going on in the county. There was an article in today's paper about the Board of Supervisors at 10 o'clock after we record this show are going to entertain selling water out of the county to another district.
Today's Cher's birthday.
Today's whose?
Cher's birthday.
Cher?
Miss Sarkeesian from Fresno.
Yeah.
I got to throw that in there, Case. Keep you off.
I like Cher. Anyway,
she's still looking good for her age. Well,
yeah, a lot of plastic.
She always is going to have that final tour and keep going on tour.
Yeah, she's
but anyway, the water, the sale of this water, they're going to run these pumps 8 months, 24 hours a day.
Yeah. So
Folks,
let's back this up a little bit. So what's happening right now is there's some farmers over on the east side in Los Banos area. Am I correct in that?
What there's
two individual.
It's a limited liability company, 4S Farms.
But the water that's going to be pumped is going to be coming out of the west side of Merced County over in the Los Banos area.
Which we really don't have the water to take out.
And
of
what
there.
they're going to
do
do?
this. Why don't we do this? Case, you report. We'll ask her. I mean, he's going to report it because I'm reading it. But go ahead and tell us what your viewpoints are, and then Steve and I'll.
Well, my whole point on this is we've talked about this in the past. Is that there needs to be a moratorium on groundwater pumping, the overdrafting of our aquifer. I mean, folks, this is just common sense. This is just common sense. If the Board of Supervisors, this was supposed to be a done deal yesterday. They amended the review period another 24 hours so the board could talk about this here today at 10 o'clock.
What do you mean it was supposed to be a done deal? That they're going to okay the transfer?
This had made its way through the halls of justice down there.
I think what we need to do is a better job explaining to our listeners right now what we're talking about. There's some limited liability partnerships over on the west side of Merced County in the Los Banos area who want to turn their well pumps on. There's 13 pumps, correct?
Right. 8 hours or 8 months, 24 hours a day.
They want to turn it on 24 hours a day for the next 8 months, and the water that is pulled out of the aquifer, they want to sell to an entity in Stanislaus County.
Right. They want to sell it to Patterson, and they want to sell it to the Del Puerto Water District, 23,000 acre feet. This is water that could be used here in Merced County to keep Merced County farmers employed, to keep Merced County field workers and all of the ancillary businesses employed, the fuel companies, the people that supply the food, the bags, the cardboard boxes, whatever you want, the tires for the trucks. I mean, come on, folks, it's called an economy. And here we are selling our economy through a pipeline out of this country, out of this county. And this is just plain wrong,
Well,
especially when
we
don't
always
know.
use the term "do the bestest for the mostest," and in this situation, you've got you've got do what's best for the community. Whatever
Bestest
whatever
with the
decision,
mostest?
the bestest for the most.
Did you learn that 3rd grade?
Well, it's a poor English, but my point is this:
Oh.
if this happens,
Right.
and you've got these limited liability partnerships over there that
Right.
turn their 13 pumps on
Right.
24 hours a day for the next 8 months.
Right.
I hope
Who
their pumps burn
benefits
out.
from that decision?
Who benefits from that
Yes.
decision? The people that have the pumps.
Exactly. Is that the bestest
Wait,
for the
but-
mostest? Is
but
that
wait a
is that
minute,
the
wait a minute,
wisest
guys.
choice we can use? The
we
wisest decision
backtrack.
we can make to use that water
Go ahead,
to
Ron.
enrich the landowners that sit on
Yeah, but wait a
those
minute.
wells,
You get into you get
rather
into-
than using that water to fertilize some land so that it does good for more people. That's my point.
But here's when I first heard this, I was like, Del Porter Water District and Patterson is on the west side. And I was told, well, that's going to help because west side's not getting any water from the state, so we're going to get some.
Right.
But then when Casey brought this to me this morning, I highlighted the water would be moved either through the San Joaquin River or the East Side Bypass into Bureau of Reclamation's San Luis Reservoir. So it's not going to go to West Side farmers. This stuff's
it's like
going,
an offsetting deal.
It's going to no. This is going to L.A.
Well, no, it is when you think about that. But what they'll do is they'll say, okay, we're going to give you this water here because obviously gravity has something to do with something.
I understand
and
it,
we'll
but
pull
here's
the water out sooner.
But here's
up
my
or up.
problem. You guys ever watch the movie There Will Be Blood?
Yeah.
Okay, and what it is the guy bought tracks in a square, and he
Right.
left the center empty. And the kid comes home towards the end of the movie, and he says, "I'm going to give you opportunity to drill that center."
Right, and he had already sucked it dry because he owned everything
Exactly.
around it. And Merced County is the center of the square, and they're sucking us dry.
There you go.
And this is the issue I have.
Right.
And this is why
And
it's
who's
wrong.
benefiting?
But I
And
want
this
people
is
to
why we
understand.
Who
need
benefits from it?
who benefits? Again, the guys with the pumps.
Exactly. So
And
who
the
are
guy
the
with the
guys at the
reservoir.
pumps?
Well,
Who are
now
the guys at the
there-
pumps?
Well, there
Who owns the pumps?
now when you get into these 4S partnerships and you get it, what is it, 4 supervisors? What does 4S mean? Okay,
Oh, don't go there.
I don't know.
Here's what I'm
They
having
don't
a
know who
problem
owns
with.
that land out
but
there.
here's
It's just
what
like Case High
What do
Speed
you mean?
Rail.
Don't go there? Is that not
Okay.
a fair question?
No. Here's what I'm saying. The issue should be, okay. First of all, somebody's trying to job the game, right? Okay,
Yeah, because
I've gone
nobody
to the
knew
Super-
about this until now. And all I
Now.
can give Darren McDaniels credit for talking about this and bringing it up about 3 weeks ago.
Right.
But nobody picked up on it, what was really going on. Now the
Right.
cat's out of the bag. And if our supervisors don't do something about this and show some leadership, we don't need Hubert Walsh's attitude, well, let's just sit back and wait and see.
Here's the pertinent question to me. We need to figure out who owns those pumps and who is going to benefit from this decision.
It's a bigger problem,
and
Kate.
see if there's any connection to the supervisors.
Whoa. Yes.
or the Bureau of Land Reclamation.
Send
Because
Bob-
this is the way this BS
I think
works.
the more immediate need is what is the harm to the community. We
no,
know
don't think
that
like that,
drafting that
Casey.
kind of water.
We don't think like that.
Guys. Okay, here's what we're missing. Okay, missing 3 things. First of all, the listeners have to understand in simple English what the problem is. And the problem is, like on There Will Be Blood, like you just said, Merced County is the center. And if you suck everything around it, you suck everything underneath Merced County.
We're screwed.
So you could suck somebody's water from 12 miles away, okay, doing this. Now, second thing is why? Why has the supervisors? Now, I asked this to a supervisor who said, that's a good point, and we should look into it. I asked the supervisor, why is it that you aren't passing ordinances from stopping these people from pumping water?
Right.
And I talked to a friend of mine. I'll just call him the Big E. He knows who he is if he's listening. And he said, Robert, he goes, if you got a guy with 20 acres, and you don't want him to pump. I said, it's not the people with the 20 acres. It's the guy with the well 30,000 feet
No,
down.
13 wells, 8 months, 24 hours a day. That's the guys we're talking about.
Right.
Okay.
And here's
you got to
who
have
are
that
those guys?
responsibility.
Oh,
Who are those guys?
And here's
4S partners.
And here's Deidre. And
Who's
here's
4S partners?
Well, they do.
We'll
you
look
have
into
the,
that,
the
but here-
corporate veil, things like that. Again, Steve, the bigger issue is it's obviously what's right and wrong.
But the
you
problem
know what's
is-
right and wrong just listening to the issue. Our listeners know what's right and wrong just by listening to this argument. You can't pump water like that in a drought when we have verified
It's not illegal.
issues.
It's just
It's
to me,
stupid.
it's unethical because what you're doing is you're saying, "Screw you, the rest of the world. Here I am, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to
take care of me.
business. I'm going to take care
I'm
of
gonna
me.
make money.
I found
Yeah, exactly.
I found a
Greed, the 7
I found
deadly
it-
sins.
I found a flaw in the system that I'm going to exploit so that I can line my pockets.
And that's wrong, especially in
God
these
bless
times.
America. Yeah.
If this was a different time, if this guy had percolation basins, and
I
was
want to
in
know.
groundwater mining.
I want you guys to find out
Why don't you do it?
who
Get
the
off your butt and go
4S
find
the
it.
4S
You're not even
partners
leaving us
are.
on.
Well,
you're
trust
not
me,
even-
they've tried that in the paper, and again, you have corporate veils, and I can tell you they're very hard to be pierced. We have an incident in Atwater, just digressing for a minute, about apartment complex that supposedly is co-owned by a city councilman that's been going through a lot of abatement issues, a lot of
Is that Mooneyham's?
code violation. That's Mooneyham's issue, and we have trails that lead back to him. Yet
Well,
he
what about
denies
Eric
it.
Lee and Measure H?
Well,
That one bothers me. I'm going to tell you why that one bothers me.
that's
Real quick.
That's a veil.
But that one bothers me because when they looked at the training, they looked at the truck and kicked the tires.
Right.
They was just a looking.
Oh no, it's just a coincidence. It was driving through town. It stopped and got gas. Hey, look.
Yeah.
Hey, look what's at the gas station. Bull crap.
And you know what? No,
But-
but if you question him, that Tomasetti, he's losing his house.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
they know everything about everybody.
Well, we're going
but-
to get into that next. Because,
know what?
folks? There are some alarming things going on in our community right now.
Yeah,
some very alarming
alarming
things.
We know about
Tortuga
you.
We'll talk
doesn't go
about
out
that
for
on the
dinner?
next. We'll talk.
So
about
hey,
that.
let me ask you, dude.
Yeah.
So how come you're looking all dapper today? Mom, put your clothes
Steve
up.
always
this
looks
morning.
dapper, just like you, Robert.
I got a lunch date.
I'm the one that dresses like
Do
a
you
mechanic.
really?
Yep.
Really?
With Kingsley?
No.
Oh, we're not going to. Oh, that's Thursday. All right, folks. We'll be right back. Stand by.
Casey Lionel train because he moves like a
little trains.
locomotive.
Are we on the air, Steve?
All right, we're ready. We're ready.
Hey,
We're
folks, welcome back to Citizen Watch, the second segment on Tuesday, May 20th. I had a friend once that went to a counselor, and one of the exercises they made him do was write his own obituary. And I guess the purpose of that is to really reflect on your life, how you feel that you've lived your life. And one of the things that I want my obituary to say is that I love those around me as much as they
What
love
the-
me. And I really, what? What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with us is that we got a lot of things to go, and you want to talk about your obituary?
No, I'm just talking about life in general. I think.
Why
it's
are
nice
we
to have
being philosophical? Don't we have issues to talk about?
Robert, sometimes you are the most irritating person in the entire
I
world.
can be, just ask Bank of America. But my point of the question is,
Anyway, folks, just love those around you because time is fleeting.
Do the bestest.
Are you
for
sick?
The, do
Life
the
is-
bestest for the most.
Are you-
I'm
do you
telling
have
you.
to-
Do
Are
your
you
bestest
terminally
for the
ill?
most. No, I was just thinking about
ahead.
different folks in my life. And Betty DeWitt, I brought in. I found a letter in the pile that she had written.
Oh,
me,
okay, there you go.
Dated in January.
see,
But,
I mean, just tell us what your motive is and your agenda.
Robert.
Betty DeWitt was a nice young lady, and if you want to go on, Betty, and
swear to
your
God.
obituary, that's fine.
All right.
I just say he said he was 281, but he was
he's-
actually 312.
He's reading the paper.
What's with you over there spitting in the trash can? Hey, I'm around. This is a crazy
What are
show
you
today.
doing?
I'm congested. I don't know what's up.
Well, now our listeners know you're congested too, Steve.
And Casey's melancholy.
All right, let's get back on
Boy.
track here. So,
Yeah, Casey.
Wait, let's do this. Wait, Steve, what would your obituary?
Listen. I want to talk about the election. We do have a lot to talk about here on Citizen Watch.
We've
we
already
don't
been
have a guest
talking the
in
election
here.
every week.
People probably got their absentee votes,
Oh, God.
ballots in the mail.
you got to better
last
open it up.
week.
You better
He
open
opened it up
Everybody,
last week.
while you're listening to me right now, walk on over to the refrigerator, take it off of the magnet with the little pig, get that envelope out, and let's open it up together. Let's take it.
Wait a minute, it's already opened, remember? Oh, my God.
Well, this is the Chicago theory. Vote early and often.
Early and often.
It's a very big. It's a very big envelope.
That's quality sound effects.
Anyway,
right there.
yeah, we nothing too big here at Studio C. By the way, we are adding to Studio C because management is taking away our kitchen. We don't have a refrigerator anymore. For us, we have an ice chest.
Yeah, just for the record, if
Who
you're
buys ice?
if you're invited onto the shows, we no longer offer coffee.
Yeah, don't bring coffee unless you come to Studio C. That cappuccino machine is going to be
Bring
working
your own.
overtime.
Bring your own coffee.
Folks, now that you have your ballot open, Robert's going to take a nap now. He gives me crap about showing love to those around us, and here he takes a
No,
nap.
it's not that. It's you. You know, I'm going to be honest. You think that this is funny, and you relish this reading the ballot to everybody.
No,
really?
I just want to let people know what the choices are.
We're not
and I
dealing
wanna
with
talk about it.
uneducated people
Okay,
here.
last week I read the front of the ballot. This is the back of the ballot.
How about
first
reading the
thing you're
side
gonna-
of the ballot?
The first thing you're going to come to is your state insurance commissioner. I don't know anything
Robert
about
Tomasetti,
any
right,
of
man.
these guys. Do what you need to do. Member State Board of Equalization, District 1. Again, it's kind of a Republican-Democrat thing. Now you get to the United States Representative, District 16. This is our congressional
Sorry, guys.
representative.
The Costa incumbent, right?
This is Costa. He's the incumbent. He's running against Steve Crass, Johnny Teixeira.
We lost with Costa.
Joanna Garcia Bothella, who we had in last week.
Botello.
Mel Levy, who we had in the week before. And Job Melton, who I've never heard of and we haven't had in.
Job.
Okay, Job, sorry.
You don't read the Bible much, do you?
No, it's
Maybe
not.
that's what we should do. Sit
not
down,
Jesus,
open
is
the
it?
Bible.
Yeah, okay, listen,
What are you talking about?
anyway, one of those people you want to vote for.
I'm on my sledginess today.
State Senator, District 12, we have Anthony Cannella and Sean Bagley.
Hey, did you know that he's pushing for more money for schools?
Member of the State Assembly.
Yeah, I didn't really realize that until I saw his bet. I knew he was running because Casey and I talked about that, but I'm driving down the...
Well, my understanding is that Merced County is going to be flush with cash.
I wouldn't go there.
With the new governor's formula for how much per student is spent.
But that's not
in the
enough
state.
for California, for
Well,
Merced City
your boy
schools.
Scambry's going to have a big bank account, boy. Be doling that stuff out.
He's going to have a big bank account.
We're going to talk about an issue that's coming up on this ballot, so give me a minute here. Okay, so the State Assembly, there's only one candidate, but I've heard some rumblings. We can't talk about it right now.
But you've heard.
Breaking news here on
I've heard some
KYOS.
rumblings that the District 21 race with Adam Gray as the incumbent may have a little interesting news soon. Anyway, right now he's the only one on the ballot. The Escuela, the school superintendent of public instructors. Again, nobody I know.
Steve Gomes isn't on there?
No, this is the
Dr. Salmonix.
I know Torlickson. Is he on there?
Torlickson, Marshall Tuck, and Lydia Gutierrez. And so you have those three. Now we do.
Gutierrez on the Tea Party.
I'm sorry?
Gutierrez. She was on the Tea Party,
okay.
and then Torlickson's running ads here on KYOS. So.
Right, and Marshall Tuck sounds like a Michael Tuck, who was a newscaster in San Diego.
Sounds like Marshall Tucker, the band leader.
Or
Exactly.
Marshall Tucker, the band. And then, of course, our county superintendent of schools, Dr. Gomes, only one on the ballot.
Whoa. He's up for election?
Yeah, he's up for election, unopposed this year. Of course, the next one coming up, unopposed this year again, too, is the assessor county clerk recorder, Barbara Levy. And then
Does a good job.
Who does a great job. And then, of course,
So does Dr. Steve.
As Robert said, Lisa Cardella Presto, auditor controller, running unopposed. And then again, unopposed, district attorney Larry Morse. And all of those have write-in potentials, but you have to be registered. Actually, today is the deadline. And of course, the sheriff coroner. Big race we've done. Big race. I think Sam probably I don't know if he next us to that, what they were saying as opposed to what he should think we should do with gangs and kids on his show Thursday when he was on. But anyway, the four candidates rather.
That seems to be the passionate race here. There seems to be a lot of interest.
You know what? To me,
spot.
I'm going to be very honest.
I know it is with Robert.
Okay, here's the problem that I have.
Watch this. Pat Lenny.
Pat Lenny's the administrator. Vern Warnke's the field troop. And Frank Swiggert's both. Frank Swiggert's been on the field, and Frank Swiggert's been in administration. Merced Sunstar did a nice.
Let's not forget Mr. Soria.
Who's he?
He's the fourth candidate out of Livingston.
Huh?
I know what
Well,
Robert's
here's
doing.
what I don't understand is the guy doesn't file all this paperwork and he's still a candidate.
I know what Robert's doing. He is forgettable.
Okay, so here's my question. Pat Lenny was in the Merced Sunstar as being the guy. There was a little caveat somewhere in the middle of it said, but we have a serious concern.
Right.
Did you guys read that?
Yeah, about his retirement.
About his retirements, about his age,
Right.
his retirements. And when he left, he was, yes, the golden boy, the golden child, the top cop.
Yeah.
But since then, there have been several sheriffs, what do you call them? Deputies, okay, that have now assumed some of that leadership role. And I'm wondering, are they Vern Warnke and Frank Swigert? So when I read it, I thought, this is kind of weird. You're going and telling everybody about what a great administrator Pat is. Okay, he's a great administrator. But if you think he's going to go out and lead the troops and be a cheerleader.
He says as much, doesn't he, Case?
Yeah, and it's two different management styles.
Right.
Robert hit it right on the head. He
If you're looking for somebody to
crystallized
direct
what the
traffic,
difference
it
is.
ain't him.
You've got Vern as a total let's go over the hill together, guys, and they're going to follow him.
Teddy Roosevelt,
You
Rough
got
Riders.
Swigert, who's back in the office. Hey, I'll be there in a minute. And then you got Pat,
Says-
which is looking with binoculars from the balcony.
Right. Move the troops up on the left.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a totally different management style. But anyway, there's those 4 individuals, and then we go to treasurer, tax collector, which is another contested race in my mind with Karen Adams as the incumbent. We've talked about some of her dalliances, some of the shenanigans.
And Richard St. Marie.
Richard St. Marie, her opponent that we had in on the show
I
last
think
week.
the noose around her neck is going to be Anthony, and Anthony.
Or
Yeah, well, I think
or
there's
Anthony Thompson is really going to hit home because
the skeletons aren't done dropping in that office. I guarantee you, if she does retain her office, because this one's going to be done in June, and that's why this election is really important, folks. We encourage you to get out there and vote. They're expecting in the teens.
why don't we
they're
encourage
expecting
people
in
to
the-
run, Casey?
Well,
I mean, I love
I'm with-
Barbara Levy. I love all
I
these
agree.
people, but the problem I said last 4 years ago, and it came up,
Yeah.
is there were 4 people that ran 5 people ran opposed. Ken Christensen did a great job.
Well, we don't have the ballot for that district, but that's what's frustrating about the O'Banion situation.
Yeah, and
35 years in the saddle.
And
I
the
mean,
situation is 2 of the 5 people got caught with shenanigans and said, "Oh well, they'll forget about it because I got 3 years
That's
of
the MO here.
unopposed."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just don't talk about it and people forget.
I
No,
mean,
it was
Lisa
very-
Cardella's doing a great job, whatever she's doing. Barbara Levy, fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's
I
not
mean,
like
they're all
people
doing
maybe-
great jobs. But
Yeah.
when you run unopposed, my point is you look at it as, I got 4 years.
Well, you get a healthier race, I think, and I just hope the turnout. I hope again our People Rally, our Citizen Watch listeners to other programs that talk about issues. I really hope you get
Isn't
out
there-
there and
and-
vote.
and here's
That's why
something-
these absentees are so important, folks.
There's 2 things here too. Remember that when you walk into the ballot booth and you close that curtain behind you, no one knows what you did.
No.
one's going to trace it.
No. They
Well,
ask
we hope no one will trace
Well,
it. But
you ask.
we're getting into a sticky
we
situation
hope,
there.
We hope we still have some anonymity there, folks, behind
That's
the
right.
ballot.
And the other thing is use that write-in as an opportunity to voice your displeasure. If you have a candidate that's running unopposed,
Right.
take the time. Don't throw up your hands and say, "Oh, I don't have a choice." You do.
Or do not vote.
Or, well, I think even more powerfully, if you go into that write-in, unopposed incumbent, and in the write-in space, put Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, the machete, whatever.
No.
That registers.
Tortuga. So you're just mad because you got a Mexican
That
name.
registers to that incumbent that we don't have a better
It
choice
doesn't
than
register to anybody. I'm sorry, they don't care.
And when I say do not vote, folks,
So
I don't
wait,
mean the whole ballot.
So
I
you're
mean,
running,
if you have
you're
an
running
opponent
unopposed,
you just
and
don't like.
They don't
there's
care.
a candidate Daffy Duck that is giving you a
That
run
doesn't
for your
mean
money.
nothing. All they need is 4K. Here's my problem. Here's what we should do.
What?
We should run a candidate for a position
Mm-hmm.
as a, what did you say, Casey, to run it as a...
Right in?
Well, no, not a write-in, but I'll tell you, maybe next time I'll be disenchanted with something. I'll put my name on there just to be a
Protest vote.
protest vote, because that is going to make sense. Because if you see Steve Colvard,
That's what Steve's talking about when he
Yeah.
says Mickey Mouse protest.
it's a
yeah, but I
protest
want
vote,
it to
exactly
really
right.
mean something. In other words, look, if I don't have my act together, I got a protest vote over here, and if enough people protest, I got another guy that's just going to
well, as
sneak
long
right
as,
in.
as long as they know you're going to do something. That's with write-ins.
But realize you're 2 chances this year.
Right.
You have 2 chances to have your voice heard.
Right.
So get out there and let it be heard. If the candidates don't really suit you and you're not enthusiastic about them, put a write-in candidate there. Let them know that you're motivated enough to get to the poll and you're unhappy with your choices.
They don't
That's all I'm saying.
I honestly
I
think
agree.
if you put Casey down as a write-in candidate, and there's a possible chance, because you got to remember these people don't care, because you have to pull papers, and if you don't pull,
you have to agree.
You have to agree. So here's the thing: if you got somebody like Casey, like I'm serious, say you don't like what somebody does, dog catcher, okay, and you're angry at the dog catcher, and he runs for office, vote Casey Steed, run Casey as a protest vote, because Casey could be the dog catcher if there's enough people that protest. So you're going to get this guy's attention. You write Mickey Mouse, Daffy Duck, they don't care. Because they're not They're not real
Is
candidates.
the protest candidate optional? Is that an option this year?
Yes.
No, well, not really. Well, like I say, folks, there may be some information coming up in other races, but it's one of those deals that.
Well, what you're
You know
saying
what
is
I'm
that
saying?
there's still people that can sign up
There's
for
still people
as
that
a
can
write-in
sign up.
candidate.
There are still and there have been races won with write-in candidates.
Yeah.
They've been very successful.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Now, here's the last 3 things, folks, and then we're done with the ballot review that I thought was only going to take 5 minutes. The state
No.
state Proposition 1, this is about veterans homing and homeless prevention bond. It's almost $1 billion in money to help our veterans find homes and housing and things. And again, folks, you have to ask yourself, more bonds. And I know that they play on the heartstrings. The other thing is the public records, open meeting, state reimbursement to local agencies. The state is taking money away, putting that burden on public agencies. Again, the state, I don't know what in the hell they do with the money we send to Sacramento, because they certainly don't send it back down here. Look what they're doing with FFA, cutting out FFA after all of these years, a proven program to get kids in the right direction. Funding for that has been held now by the governor, and they're saying, screw you. And I just can't believe. Anyway, this is another bond. And the bond that really gets me is Measure M. It's the last issue on your ballot, Measure M. There's one of the things that, again, playing on the heartstrings, they've identified $300 million in need.
That's
folks.
A bond float, right?
$300 million in need, okay? They have 120 in urgent need. This is like 911. They're coming to the voters for $65 million. The rhetoric they're telling us is, hey, for that money, you'll improve your fire safety and school security. In other words, we don't have good fire safety now, and we don't have good security, but they're only getting half of the urgent need they need, and a quarter of what they need overall. So do you believe them when they say that it's going to improve?
No.
They say repair leaky roofs, plumbing, and deteriorating restrooms. What do they need to do? Get those new bilingual signs, men/women, how I feel today, a weather vane out the front door. Repair inefficient or faulty electrical systems. The lights don't work anymore. What suddenly happened? Remove asbestos and lead paint. What do we got? Another auto shop going out over here at Castle Air Force Base with our kids?
But it's for the kids, Casey. It's for the kids.
Now that we've got the raises, to the staff,
Door crane.
Now Testa needs $65 million out of a quarter of what he really needs. Yeah. Folks, this is disingenuous, and they try to say, look, it's based on your assessed value, not market value. I mean, remember when market value was in the toilet, and now it's
only
going
to cost you $5 a month.
Yeah, 35 on every 100,000 assessed value. Folks, it's the death of 1,000 cuts.
Amen.
No.
And here's my
No on M. I can't tell you enough.
Here's my position.
Go ahead.
The first Measure M.
Yeah.
That was floated.
Yeah.
And on that flyer, a few years back, it said, get Merced High School a new gym.
Yeah.
Get Atwater High School a new gym. Vote yes on M, the first M.
Right.
And this is what you're going to get.
But see, that was the high school. But this is the city schools. This is K through 8, and then next month it'll be 9 through 5, and then 4 through, and then it'll be the college, and then and then it's
incubator.
The fines to park in a red zone down there. The county building went up 200%. Where does it end, people? Where does it end? Where does the money that we send to the state every day
with a no vote on M?
Of course,
with a no vote on
there. They're playing to your heartstrings here. They show these poor little kids in poverty conditions. They're breathing in lead paint. They're breathing in asbestos. A gunman's going to walk in any minute. The school's going to burn down around their head.
They're going to have a flood through a roof.
They're using Commodore 64 computers.
What are they? Yeah, they're using K-Pros over there. I tell you, Miss Rosemary Parga Duran, to put out this kind of rhetoric is disingenuous.
It's offensive.
Especially when you look out for your own teacher's salary.
No on him.
No on him.
No on him.
Wait. Just go real quick. That's exactly.
Please, no on him.
But
stop feeding this beast.
We don't usually take a position.
No, this is ridiculous.
That's the thing that bugged me about it is it. I can understand you want a fire safety. You want to put this, that. Okay. Repair leaky roofs. What are you doing now if the roof leaks?
Exactly.
Aren't you repairing it? Okay, it says repair leaky roof.
What does that give you the vision of? Your kids sitting at a desk
Did you go to
with
Crookshank
water
School?
with a bucket next to them?
Have you gone to Crookshank School?
I went to Hoover, which is one of these schools they're talking about.
I went to Crookshank because it bugged me that they want $3 million for this one. They want $10.5 million for Crookshank School. What a beautiful school!
It's brand
What
new.
a beautiful campus. 19 years old. It needs $10 million because of.
Like I say, this ain't enough, folks. They want 300 overall.
Don't
property
be a sucker.
owners.
Vote no on him.
Property owners are getting taken.
Yes, we are.
All right,
Boy,
we're way over. We'll be right back.
And the final thing is finish your commitments to the first Measure M before you come back with the second Measure M.
Well, again, different school district.
And do you
again,
find it ironic that they use the same letter for both bond floats?
Well, here's something that makes
I
me
don't
laugh
know.
is
You know
they
why?
already have a bond float. They already have a bond on my bill, on my tax bill.
Two, if you look.
From Merced City Schools. And
Right.
I'd like to know, what was that promise?
Oh, well, that was another deal down the road. Again, folks, this money,
Don't be a
$65
sucker.
billion, will be paid with interest. It will be twice as much, and it's going to take 30 years. We'll be right back.
Let her rip, Case.
We're back, aren't we?
We're back.
See, you've been recording all of this banter between us.
I know. We should do a show, like you said, between
The
the
banter
breaks.
show. We'll
Yeah.
have to do the
On
apology
breaks.
show one day. Folks, welcome back to Citizen Watch here in Studio C, the oasis in the coffeeless desert we now call Radio Merced.
That's right.
We have Steve Colvard on the controls. Hopefully you'll hear this show, depending on how the equipment holds out.
If we weren't pressed for time, I try to explain
We've had some issues.
how the engineering works.
Yeah, nobody cares. Anyway, listen, we have Robert the Velvet Sledgehammer Tomasetti in studio over there doing research. Got his
Machete.
books at-
Tomasetti.
You know, I don't know what I like better, but folks, you can decide. You can decide the future, the direction, the content, literally, of Citizen Watch
You
by
had
writing
fun.
in and giving us
Excuse me.
tips.
You had
Or
fun with me, and I had fun with you, but together.
you were cruel with me, Robert. You were absolutely cruel. I had people tell
Just
me
because
they
you were a
felt.
chubby little kid.
I had people
Did you
tell me
get
they
hugged?
actually felt bad for me because you were so mean.
Yeah, it was
He
so
is mean, man.
Well, wait till we get.
He's a-
And I'm not mean. This
He's
is
a-
just a funny name,
he's
a
a
little
bully.
play on
All right,
words.
can we go with our?
So again, if you like Velvet Sledgehammer or Tomasetti the Machete or Machete Tomasetti,
No,
call
it's a
209
Machete
209
Tomasetti.
Say Machete, Tomasetti, that would be better. But I don't like
209.
my last name in K.
209 area code 406 8728.
8728.
I could do that. I could
That's
do
our
Machete
tip line.
Tomasetti.
Okay.
Or you can
Tortuga.
send a letter to the station, folks. We always accept mail as long as it's not ticking or smells bad or has a funny powder in it. Not area code. Address 1020 West Main Street, Merced, California, 95340. Radio
Okay.
Merced, Steve Colvard, KYOS. However you address it, you can walk it in during business hours.
And a big what up to the boys in the pen in Atwater.
Big, you know,
they
hey,
keep us going here.
USP Atwater, down the hall, our voice echoes, I guess, every Tuesday and Thursday night. We appreciate any listeners, captive or not. You know, it's like the Board of Supervisors up there, hopefully making the right decision on these water issues. You know, we had a little shooting in Planada. 4-year-old girl and her mother shot in a Honda Civic the other day, 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. And you wonder why I call it Planet X, folks? You wonder why I call it Planet X, Dr. Gomes? John Pedroso, you wonder why? Get those problems resolved and I won't call it that. Anyway, the other thing that we were going to talk about a little bit today, and I've been promising to do this subject for a long time, is we have an incident over there at the Merced Union High School District with what I call a diploma mill and some hanky-panky going on over there with people that are getting promotions and positions using credentials that normally would not be accepted by the school district, but for some reason, in this case, have been. And it's very confusing to me when I read the documents, and I have numerous ones, and I'm just going to go over a few today. I have a sheriff's report that was done by the Merced County Sheriff's Department in reference to a complaint made about an individual that works at the head of IT technology over there at the Merced Union High
The
School
head of
District.
IT technology.
Well, excuse me, it's the Assistant Information Systems Manager. He's
Okay.
right below the head guy. Okay. And one of the qualifications for this job, besides your training, knowledge, and experience, is your education. And it says any combination equivalent to a bachelor's degree in computer science, information system, or closely related field, 3 years of experience, and 3 years of experience in application programming, analysis, databases, blah, blah, blah. Not to be boring about, because believe me, information systems, to me, I don't understand it. If it wasn't for Bill Gates, I wouldn't know how to use a computer. But anyway, the issue is here is to attain this level of assistant information IT guy, you have to have credentials. You have to have experience. You have to have work experience, blah, 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 knowledge, and you have to have a degree. Now, typically, degrees come from what we call accredited universities. Merced Merced College is an accredited university. People probably remember in the news a few weeks ago or months ago, a year or so now, that Merced College was going to lose their accreditation because they didn't comply with certain requirements and standards. That was a very big deal. We lost Mr. Duran about that time and got a new president who retained our accreditation, and now everything's cool. Because basically what that means is you go to school there, you may learn something, but there is nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It's a big nothing burger because it didn't come from an accredited university. You might as well listen to some guy on the street corner tell you how to run computers.
Right.
So anyway, this individual that received this job was named Anthony Thomas. Okay, he received this job of Assistant Information Systems Manager. Okay, he got this job using a degree from a place called Alameda University. Okay, Alameda University is not an accredited university. So the complaint was made that this individual was committing a fraud by getting a job, which the job paid more than the current position he was in. I think it was a number of thousands of dollars. I'm not going to quote an exact figure because I don't have the salary range on this solicitation, and I don't know what he was making before. But basically, he got a raise for meeting these requirements. And so a complaint was made. And just to read you a little bit about Alameda University, Alameda, this is a solicitation from Alameda. Alameda offers its students life experience, associate, bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees in fields including science, business, commerce, divinity, and theology. Now, when they talk about life experience, you basically write in and you say, I've been hanging around Steve at the radio station, and suddenly I'm a broadcast engineer.
Right.
And you can kind of pick your own path. There's not really a curriculum or a campus you go to.
Right.
It's basically, and that's why they call them a diploma mill. You put your money in, and a diploma comes out.
Right.
And so basically, what it says is, students can receive their degree with an expeditious reply. Associate, bachelor's, and master's degree without thesis may be bought for $4.99, while a master's degree with a thesis are available for $7.95, and a doctoral degree will cost students $14.95.
Amen.
Yeah, so
I
this
could be
is
a doctor for $1,500.
Dr. Steve, Reverend
There you
Steve.
go.
What would you like to be?
Hey, man, I don't know.
So I know that you could join the Susan B. Komen Foundation,
Sure.
do some free breast exams. I'm sure that would
Amen.
excite. Anyway, no, it's just interesting to see that you hear about these places. I mean, we read about them in the news.
Absolutely.
Where people think they want to be a doctor really bad, just couldn't pass the mustard. They get a degree, they pretend, they operate. I mean, we've had people fly planes. You name the profession, it's been faked.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the deal: is it right within our school district that we have somebody that's teaching our kids?
Who's
that has
monitoring it?
And who's monitoring it, Mr. V. Scott Scambray?
No,
because this police
It's a big
report,
human resource issue, wouldn't it?
this case report that I have,
case, yes.
which is dated in 2013, it's case number.
Why do we care the police report number?
28578? Just so people don't think I'm bull.
They know you are a man of credibility.
Well, I want people
Except
to
for
know
me.
that.
You promised me things, and
So
then
it was
never
a fraud
come
charge?
through.
Yeah, basically, this a complaint was made that this individual received his position through fraud and deceit, and that he's getting money through fraud and
Okay,
deceit.
stop. How much money? What kind of degree did he get? A master's degree, right?
No, I think it was a bachelor's degree.
Okay, so he paid $499
Right.
Well, according to this rate schedule, but I don't know.
to get a degree
right.
that will give him a pay schedule
Right.
of somewhere
Several
around
$1,000s.
$40,000.
It's a good investment.
Exactly.
No, the job he has pays more than $40,000.
No,
here's
but how
my
much
point.
did that $500 degree increase his pay?
Oh, I don't know. It's hey, where do you go from here?
So
And this
why
begs
wasn't
the
it-
question? What other things are going on over
Amen.
there at the Merced Union
That's
High
why-
School District?
and you know
is
what-
Scambray taking
you know what we
teachers'
call that?
degrees? Because you know what we see with teachers, right? When you first come out of school, a newbie, $40,000 a year.
Yeah.
You get that master's, you get that BA, you get that extra, special ed.
Yep.
Now 75, 100.
Get an EDD.
Do we have that going on
You are
over
the
there,
master of
Robert?
the universe.
Well, here's what I would like to know, and here's what my question would be. Okay, how many of the teachers actually went to a school, sat, had to go through the rigors of school, not sit in the pajamas after the kids are in bed because you're bored with your
Right.
husband, and crank out 2 hours worth of work a night?
My guess would be
Right.
their bachelor's degree. They probably went to the school, and then all their post-bachelor documents they've got. I bet you they've done online.
But what about
Would be
the
my
people?
guess.
What about the people that did that drove to Merced College,
I'll give you a
sat
great
there
one.
in class,
I'm gonna name
learned
one.
how to really
I'm gonna name one.
do a computer,
And you
as
explain-
opposed to some guy that sends in $4.99?
No, wait a
I
minute. Let's
understand.
do this. I know a young lady, her name is Juanita Pedroso, who is very wonderful at the schools. Juanita got her, I believe she got her bachelor's degree at Fresno State. She got her master's degree at St. Mary's. Now, can you imagine driving from here to St. Mary's
Well,
and
you
saying,
can do some of that stuff online too, St. Mary's.
Of course, but the point of the matter, it's St. Mary's, which is a
It's an accredited university.
It is an accredited Catholic university in the Bay Area.
In
Now,
Moraga.
here I am. I got a degree from Merced College for my associates. I go to Stanislaus, get my bachelor's, and then at night I'm getting Capella, Northern,
Grand Canyon University,
Come on, that's your boy.
Phoenix University has made billions of dollars.
Well, and again, it just begs to the
Who
question.
really- what
the
degree-
school district has standards that you will submit a degree from an accredited university. Why did they accept this, Mr. Scambray? How many other people have you done this for? And what does that say to the employees? That you don't have standards, you don't have rules? And
called
more
the good old boy
pointedly,
network.
why didn't the school board do anything about this? We heard about a divided school board months ago. Suddenly we haven't heard a peep.
Yep.
Have they been bought off, Mr. Snyder?
Yes, they have.
I need a question answered.
Yes, they have.
Okay, why isn't this issue a big issue? You just bought 4,500 Chromebooks. 4,500 Chromebooks. Do you got a guy over there as the assistant IT guy that doesn't know what the hell he's doing that paid $495? Doesn't give me a lot of hope.
You know
now
what?
let's tie that in with a $65 million bond.
Right.
You guys want money and you can't even get people that have a degree.
Wrong guy.
I mean,
Wrong, $65 million.
You know what I'm saying, though?
No, I do hear what you're saying.
clarify.
You know what I'm saying?
What I'm saying is this. When we go to college as kids, you ask these kids from UC Merced, why did you want to come to UC Merced? It's a UC. Okay, where do you want to go? I want to go to Fordham. I want to go to a big name school because it prestige and it carries weight. When I've got a teacher that's teaching my child and he comes from Capella University
Or Alameda.
The foundation of government employment
4,500 Chromebooks run by a guy that paid $499.
The foundation of government employment is based on the degree you have.
In this police report
based
that
on the
I
piece
have,
of paper.
In this police report I have in my hands, it says on December 4th, 2013, I received a call. This is the Merced County Sheriff, Officer Rosenberg, that's writing this. I received a call from Michael Lenneman, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources for the Merced Union High School District. Lenneman told me that the high school district had looked into the matter of Anthony Thomas's employment as an Assistant Information Systems Manager for MSUSD. Lenneman told me that since the education requirement for the position per the job description state that the applicant need a bachelor's degree or equivalent, the school district accepted Thomas' degree from Alameda University. Lenneman also told me that this has been looked into at the time of Thomas's appointment to the position, that they knew Alameda College was not accredited. They knew, Steve. They knew. And yet they accepted it. What does that say to all of you good teachers out there? What does that say to all you good teachers out there taking extra activity? What does that say to you? You're wasting your time. That's what Mr. Scambray's telling you. You're wasting your time. Why don't you just pay $4.99? Sit home with the kids. Watch Jeopardy. Watch Wheel of Fortune.
Because
Mr. Lenneman, the Director of Human Resources, what does he make a year? What does he make a year?
Never doing no wrong.
There you go. See?
It's the good
Doesn't
one.
it bring it out of you?
It's thriving.
Doesn't it bring it out of you?
No,
so what does that tell you about our school district, folks?
Just a good
But they
old
need
boy.
more money.
Okay, stop. Why do we find out where Mr. Scambray got his degrees?
Well, let's talk about Mr.
because
Khan.
usually-
Let's talk about what Mr. Khan lost from his fraudulent activities and the money he's investing for our school district and the hanky-panky that went on out there at that curved monstrosity on G Street
but
that's
here's
falling
my
apart.
People, we better take this back. And your first step is voting no on M.
No on M.
No
I want some
on
answers
M.
from Scambray on this deal. I want to know, this has been forwarded to
My
the
father
Merced County
says,
District
just a
Attorney.
good old
Is Larry
boys.
Morris going to do anything about this? It's a misdemeanor in the education code. It's so obscure that nobody could find it in a million
Nothing
years.
will be done about this.
Yeah.
It's just a good old boy.
Terrible,
You guys
Steve.
aren't
Never
understanding what I'm
doing
trying
no
to say.
harm.
My father used to say, if you hang with salami, you stink like salami. And the point of the matter is, you tell me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. When you've got somebody at the top like Scambray allowing this to happen, it begs the question of, what kind of degree does Vinny have?
Yeah.
I know he went to Fresno State, but where did he get his
Did he
master's?
really?
Where did he go? Well, he was
I
an
know.
athlete. Oh,
knows?
you know what happens with athletes.
Well,
You get special people
get
that
it.
do
Look, we are
special.
out of
This
time,
is
folks. This
just
is
a
a
symptom
great
of the good old boy
conversation.
network. It has to be broken, folks, and the first step is no on M.
And again, get those ballots out, fill them out. If this doesn't do it, I don't know what does. Folks, these conversations, we could have 4 hours a day, I swear to God.
We got to go out with the Dukes of Hazzard theme, don't we?
Well, yeah, I think so now. But please tune in to Thursday's show, the 22nd of May. It's going to be a little warmer, but we'll have another edition of Citizen Watch with Steve Colvard, Robert Tomasetti.
And we'll show you how to do the ballot
Casey
again.
Steed. You know, every morning I wake up in the morning, I gather my wits, I open the paper, and I read the obits. If my name is not in there, I pat myself on the head, I have a good breakfast, and I go back to bed. And with that, Robert, what do we say?
Goodbye, Case.